Did you use some hot tea, brother?
Man, I need some Jack and honey. Ooh, welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafit, along with my good friend, Artemis Brower. Artie, week 2 of flu week for me. I don't know. I'm struggling over here.
Tell me what it is, man. What is it being out and about? Is it baby in the house? And I know that is the baby good? Is the wife good?
Baby,
Is it just you?
everybody else is good. It's just me. Just me. No, I think started last week and then just a nagging cough, man. So trying to get through a podcast and it's definitely tough.
I mean, I'm hit the mute button quite a bit.
Yeah. Artie, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a long week. I got tomorrow off though, because my company gives me a lot of PTO, and if I don't use it, I'm gonna lose it by the new year. So just taking a random day off tomorrow. And but it's been a long week. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had to drive to the office a couple of days this week. So, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm here, and I'm excited to do another episode. Lots been going on around Pirate Nation. So
lots been going around Pirate Nation. Lots been going on in the world of the NCAA.
yeah.
I mean, what a week. I mean, lots been going on in the American. I mean, lots to talk about, Artie. We're gonna try our best to get to everything. Talk some bowl games. Talk some stuff that's going on in the American.
Right.
Talk about what's going on at the NCAA. A lot of shuffling, a lot of like craziness. But Artie, before we do that, number 75. Do you have a 75?
I do have a 75 for this week, and this might be chalk because he is an all-time great. He is an NFL Hall of Famer, but I ain't got nothing else. So I gotta call him out. And since I did offense a few weeks ago, I gotta stick with my defensive lineman. So I'm going Deacon Jones, who is played for the NFL for 14 seasons, played for the Los Angeles Rams, San Diego Chargers, Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Redskins. Inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1980. Specialized in sacks, nicknamed the Secretary of Defense, which is a dope nickname to have as a football player. You call it the Secretary of Defense. But yeah, that's my 75 for the week. All-time great defensive lineman Deacon Jones. So shout out to him.
For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go Howie Long, 8-time Pro Bowler.
That's a good one.
2-time All-Pro, 1-time Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer, played 12 years for the Raiders.
Yeah.
At DN. So, yeah, I mean, two defensive guys on the defensive side of the ball. Artie, good picks. Yeah. And they're chalk. They may be a little chalk, but they're not super chalk.
The kiddos may not know about them. They're old school guys before our time. So, the kiddos might not know a Howie Long or a Deacon Jones.
Howie Long may be more known for his broadcast career,
right? Than his
football career.
And he's a Hall of Fame football player. So that's crazy.
So yeah, good one. All right, Artie. Before we get started, the Boneyard Podcast is proud to be members of the Variety Sports Podcast Network. Go check them out. Lots of great content coming out. I know they're doing a Saturday football show this week in preparation for the bowl games that start up here in I guess just a couple of days, really, Artie. Yeah. So lots to be talked about in college football. There's basketball shows, baseball shows. Shohei Ohtani signing a $700 million deal. We'll get to that in a little bit, maybe. Yeah, go check them out. Variety Sports. Follow them. Subscribe on YouTube. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, right? So at Boneyard Podcast, do that, and we'll really appreciate you. Subscribe. Let us know about it, and you'll be a best friend of the podcast for life. All right, Artie. Let's talk about some of the transfer portal updates. There's quite a bit going on, right? Like maybe not as many guys in the transfer portal from ECU as we maybe would have expected. There's still quite a few guys.
Right.
I mean, we know Mason Garcia, Tegan Wilk. Some of those guys, I mean, Mason Garcia finds his new home. He's following former ECU safeties coach Trip Weaver to Austin P at the FCS level. Then you got Joseph Pop McKay. He didn't play at all in his 2 years, and then got passed by Kamara Edmonds and Javius Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Zion Agnew didn't see the field this year. He was a 3-star coming in, 4-star at some places. I don't know which ones, but and he's got all his years left to play. So far, Artie, those are kind of the 3 guys from the skill positions.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on who we've lost?
Yeah, just from the names that you listed off, obviously not guys that had too much of a terrible impact on our team for this season or maybe even before. But anytime those guys transfer out, obviously didn't work out here, but we wish them the best, in their future, landing spots, wherever they go. Obviously Mason, Trip Weaver, I am rooting for those 2 guys at Austin P. I know it's an FCS level, but they have the opportunity to do something special at those programs, bringing a different kind of FBS kind of mindset to Austin P. I think it's gonna help them out tremendously. So I'm definitely rooting nothing but I hope, and I'm going to be following Austin P. That's definitely a program I'm going to be following next season to see if Mason gets a shot. If he gets in there, maybe starts a little bit. Definitely going to be following Trip Weaver, how he has that defense shaping up. But honestly, guys that we kind of expected to be out, guys that I don't think that we're going to really be losing sleep over, to be completely honest with you, but rooting nothing but success for them.
Yeah. And I want to say this first. Next time ECU is looking for maybe a defensive coordinator, hopefully, we hope Blake Harrell's here for the long run, but Trip Weaver is a guy that I would love to have back in Greenville. He fits the mold perfectly of an East Carolina Pirate. I hate we didn't capitalize on the opportunity to get him on the podcast. He said he would come on. Bunch of energy. Wishing him the best as he gets a promotion. He becomes the defensive coordinator at Austin P.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed a lot of guys that are in the transfer portal from ECU have been offered in the last day or so by Austin P. Yeah. So keep an eye on that. A bunch of guys from ECU are now getting offers there to come play. But yeah, then already moving along, still on the offense, Richard Pierce, Isaiah Foote, Elijah Samples, and Amari Allen, all linemen that have entered the portal. Isaiah Foote is really the kind of the one that stands out.
Yeah, that's really the only one that kind of stands out. Yeah.
Richard Pierce, another big body, but Isaiah Foote definitely got some starts at ECU. I don't ever talk bad about anybody on ECU, but once again, the guys we're losing here, not really upsetting me. We all know what the offensive line has been. They had kind of one good year. And then the 2 studs left on the offensive line. Avery Jones and why am I forgetting the other guy that left? But anyways, the offensive line was absolute dog shit last year, right? Like, wish them the best, but at this point, not too worried about it.
And look, these guys are not stupid, right? They know the writing on the wall. They know that we were going to be trying to make room to bring other guys in. We are going to be bringing other guys in. At the end of the day, D1 football is a business, as much now as it's ever been. It's a full-fledged business, right? These guys aren't dumb. They want to have an opportunity to go somewhere else and kind of rewrite their own history, kind of stamp their own footing. They know how they played this past season, and they believe that that's not what they're capable of. So they're going to have an opportunity to go somewhere else and prove it somewhere else. But the writing was on the wall. They're not dumb, and I think they are doing what's best for their future. We're also doing what's best for our future as a program. So it just makes sense for both sides.
Yeah, for sure. And then switching over to the defensive side of the ball, one of them that kind of surprised me, Xavier McIver. I was really excited to see kind of what he would kind of form into.
Yeah.
When he was going to get more opportunities. Hate to see him go, Jason Shuford, but you're not losing really any of your guys, any of your key starters on the defensive line. Right. I mean, a lot of them have already said, hey, we're coming back. Let's run it back next year. So you're going to have that group, which caused, I'm going to take a term from the Carolina Hurricanes, caused a bunch of chaos, right? They may not get the quarterback, but they definitely hurry them, right? So that defensive line is still going to be pretty stout next year. Another guy that kind of stood out to me, I didn't expect to see him go, what was Taylor Jackson, and then also Ra Dilworth. I mean, Dilworth transferred in from Chapel Hill last year. Kind of, he I believe he started like 7 games or something like that, and then
he sat out some games. I think maybe because of was it injury that he sat out, or was it because every game that he I guess technically played and he started, but
yeah, I was surprised to see both of those guys in.
Yeah.
So very interesting. We'll see where they land. I mean, both will be good pieces to have on the defense, right?
Yeah,
And then
I was gonna say, like, I thought they could take a developmental step forward next year. Right, this is an extremely good defense to where you could take that next step forward and be a leader. Which is why I was shocked that that they moved out, and both of those guys had plenty of opportunity to like come in the next year and be the guy and start for this defense and be like real impact players. And now they had to sit for another year or two. So I was definitely shocked by that.
Yeah, and then lastly on the D-backs, Artie, I mean, you got Rance Connor, Tegan Wilt, our guy, and Ty Moss. Tegan was a surprise. I'll admit that. Tegan, friend of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
He's getting looked at by some big name programs, and rightfully so. I saw one of those programs was NC State, and I really hope that's not the case. And I don't think so. I don't think he would do that to ECU. I don't think that's what's going to happen. And then Ty Moss, another guy that kind of was a little more surprising than I didn't think that he would transfer, especially with how much turnover is going to happen on this in this DB room. I mean, you're losing Julius Wood graduating, right? So I thought it would give him another shot, right? So we'll see. But you keep Antoine Jackson, right? You keep Siobhan Revel. Those are two of your guys that, I mean, you're going to need down the stretch.
I would absolutely agree. I think for the most part, this defense is still going to be solid. They're still going to be intact. The key guys are going to still be there, and they're going to get better. I think the coaching has a lot to do with it too. So the guys that we do need to plug in for next year, I think we're going to be just fine. I do believe that this team knows that if, just like JDB said, if we get the offense competent, we can get it together. I don't see much drop off for this defense, if any at all. And so if the offense can get right, and then looking at that schedule, and we're going to get into the schedule for next year, it's going to be special in a really quick turnaround. So,
yeah, for sure, Artie. And now that we've talked about some guys that are transferring out, let's talk about some guys that are targets that we know of.
Yeah.
To transfer in. One of them, Alex Kahn, offensive lineman from Iowa Western at the JUCO level, won the JUCO national championship last night in convincing fashion. He's committed currently to Nebraska. Look, already Nebraska's gotten they've gotten one 5-star commit, and I think they're about to flip another 5-star commit at quarterback to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Quarterback from that's committed to Georgia, Raiola. I think that's how you pronounce his name. looks like he's going to be transferring or decommitting from Georgia and then committing to Nebraska. So that might be 2 5-star quarterbacks at Nebraska. And we all know what happens when you get a big offensive line, a good offensive line there. They can be pretty menacing in the Big Ten. But then you got Ty Keys, also played in the national championship for the JUCO at the JUCO level last night. He's at Eastern Mississippi. Did I do the Eastern East thing again? Are they East Mississippi or Eastern? Josh, do you know?
Isn't that Last Chance U?
Eastern, yeah. Yeah,
that's Last Chance.
EMCC. We just call it EMCC.
That's Last Chance U right there. That's a dynasty. It's a dynasty program.
Yeah.
You got Cameron Wright there too, who's a wide receiver, also a target of ECU's. Now at the FBS level, there's some guys that are being looked at, and I mean most of them are on the offense. The biggest one, in my opinion, right now, Artie, Lyndon Cooper from NC State, offensive lineman. That would be a big get.
Yes, it would.
That would be a big
now,
get.
Jared, don't be a hypocrite because we can't be sitting here getting excited about NC State recruits coming in and they'd be mad if like a Tegan Wilk flipped to NC State. You can't have your cake and eat it too now.
Look, Artie,
don't be excited about an old lineman coming in from state and then get upset at Tegan Wilk because he's making a business decision. If he goes,
no. Look, Artie, I am 99% sure Tegan Wilk is not going to NC State.
But if he does, is don't hate on that man.
Tegan Wilk's one of our guys. Tegan Wilk's one of our guys. Like I said, Alec Makarevich wasn't one of our guys. He said he was going to come on, then he ghosted us.
That is true.
He did do that. So no love lost for Alec Makarevich. Tegan Wilk, I mean, he's one of our guys.
Okay. I just wanted to say
Artie,
that's all.
Artie, I'm going to go on the record and say I'm pretty convinced Tegan Wilk's not going to NC State.
Which would be great. But I agree with you. Lyndon Cooper would be a good get out of NC State to come to ECU. Wholeheartedly agree with that.
For sure. And then elsewhere, I mean, you got some edge rushers. Raheem Craig out of Louisville. Steven Sines out of Auburn. I'm looking at guys, going back to our conversation with Coach Donnie Kirkpatrick a couple weeks ago, thinking they're probably keeping the same mindset when targeting recruits. They don't want one-for-one guys, right? Like they don't want one-and-done guys. I mean, they'll take them if they have to, but they'd like a guy that's going to be here for at least 2 years.
Be able to establish something, exactly. Develop him into the kind of player that we want him to fit for our system. Yeah.
So I look at a guy like Raheem Craig out of Louisville, 2 years of eligibility left. Lyndon Cooper, 2 years of eligibility left. Those are some guys. And then also on the defensive side, Donovan Spellman with 3 years left. So yeah, Artie, there's definitely some guys. Lastly, Caden Hauser, quarterback from Michigan State, is visiting East Carolina this week. Steve and I reported earlier this week that he's going to be taking an official visit. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, his numbers weren't crazy good, but I mean, former 4-star recruit, played at Michigan State, dealt with a bunch of bullshit with the whole Mel Tucker fiasco. Your thoughts, Artie, as a Michigan man?
Yeah, look, Michigan State's offense was definitely trash this season. If we're being honest, I think they got goose egg twice this year. I know they got goose egg by us, and I think they got goose egg by Penn State. I could be wrong, but I think they got goose egg twice this season. But he did go through a lot of bullshit at Michigan State. He is a guy that was good enough to go to an FBS Power 5 program like Michigan State, which normally is a really, really competitive and really good program in all of college football. And so why not, right? Why not, take him in, see if he has an opportunity to kind of come in and impress. And obviously he can't be any worse than the quarterback play that we had, just this past season. So I'm looking at it from open ended, eyes wide open. Why not? Yes, the optics don't look good. Yes, Michigan State's offense was atrocious this year. Paying attention to the Big Ten, just kind of looking at what that team was. But it was a mess from the start. You can't expect a kid to go in there and be Superman for a program that is essentially a mess.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's going to be some other guys that
I do too. Yeah,
that are going to be coming in, and there's still some pretty good quarterbacks out there, right? Like it seems like everybody and their mother that's a quarterback.
Everybody's transferring, man.
Is in the transfer portal.
But you know what? This is it's hunting season, man. It's deer season. Let's go hunt some deer. Like let's go get us somebody. Let's go get us somebody.
I don't know, Artie. Yeah, and then moving along, American Athletic Conference yesterday announced the 2024 opponents. No dates announced, right? So we know who we're playing in conference, but we don't know when we're playing them. Mm-hmm. We know who we're playing at home. We know who we're playing on the road. Already at we're going to go through the teams on the schedule, but at first glance, your thoughts.
Boo-boo. This schedule is boo-boo, but it could work out in our favor because if we are able to actually turn things around, I know that's a tall task after a team that just went 2-10. All right, so we still as ECU fans, I know we just got JDB. I know we're bolstering this offensive staff. We're getting a whole bunch of new faces in here. People are excited. We look at the schedule. People are excited. Hamper them expectations. We just went 2-10. Hamper them expectations. But if we can somehow pull this thing off and get this thing turned around within a year, that schedule is enticing. That is a delectable. That like we said it before we came on the air. It's like welcome back to Conference USA. Basically, pretty much looking at that schedule. I mean, nobody on there scares you, especially like coming off the gauntlet that we had, this season or in seasons past, where we got to go to the big house or play at South Carolina. Like this just doesn't fit that mold. So, I mean, looking at the schedule just at a glance with 1, 2, I see 3 teams with a winning record. One was undefeated in Liberty. Everybody else was either 500 or worse, right, from this past season. So this is as enticing as a schedule as we're going to get probably for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, last year teams went 65-77 in 2023 that are on ECU schedule.
Yeah.
That includes a 3-8 Norfolk State to open the season, Labor Day weekend. App State, I mean, we all saw App State and what happened the last 2 times we played them. Hey, if we had an offense, we beat App State last year. I think so.
Now, I will say this. Having Navy and Army on the schedule.
God, I hate that.
That terrifies me. That absolutely terrifies me.
You got to win one of those games.
Just for some reason, we just don't match up with these military schools. We just don't. We just don't match up well with them. And we got to play it twice now. So that does scare me.
Yeah, not happy about having to play Army and Navy. That is, I hate that. I said that when Army joined the American. I do not want to play both of them in the same year.
Yeah,
and it's bullshit that we have to.
I mean, look, it's going to be great to be able to play these 2 prestigious, military academies. Maybe we could have 2 military days or something. Well, one is home, one's away. But I mean, it's just going to be great to be able to play these 2 teams. But it's like that scares the shit out of me. I'll tell you though, the one away game we need to get to is Liberty. We got to get up to Liberty.
I mean, Artie, I was looking at it. There's several games we could get to. I mean, we're gonna go to Liberty, and I think we're gonna go to Charlotte.
Yeah. I mean, well, Charlotte's just an easy. Charlotte's what, hour 15 minutes away. That's closer than Greenville. That's an easy move.
Being in Winston-Salem, yeah. Look, Charlotte is going to be a home game for ECU. A lot of Charlotte fans like to talk shit. Look, we're going to turn I think it's Jerry Richardson Stadium.
You're right.
Into Dowdy Ficklin Southwest. Fuck Charlotte, man. I don't know. Like, they keep talking their shit. Okay, you beat us, but man, with the amount of money we're saving, living rent free in their heads, we could buy a house in Ballantyne. Sorry about it. Shut up, Charlotte. Nobody likes y'all. All right, Norfolk State.
Yeah.
3-8. Very winnable game. App State losing a bunch of guys in the transfer portal from what I've seen. Went 8-5. They're going to face Miami of Ohio in the Cure Bowl. Beat James Madison this year. So good for them. Good on them. But App State, they got to come into Greenville. Right? So with a new offense, or should I say a retooled offense, I think we beat App State. I think we can beat App State.
And looking at that, depending on when that game is, and that probably will be the second or third game of the season, we'll still have an opportunity to be undefeated, right? At home, that's going to be the most sold-out packed game of the season by far, not even close. So we'll definitely have home field advantage.
Yeah, that's week 3. So Norfolk State's week 1. Week 2, you're on the road at Old Dominion.
Yeah, so I mean, an opportunity to be 2-0 playing App State at home. Yeah, that's going to be a crazy environment.
I mean, Old Dominion's no slouch. They're
not.
They went 6-6. They've found ways at times to play ECU tough. ECU still 4-0 against them, right? So ECU got to go up to Norfolk. It's funny, you play Norfolk State, and then you got to travel the next week and play up in Norfolk against another team from the same city. Then App State comes in, and then week 4, ECU goes on the road at Liberty. I mean, Artie, I've been to Liberty. Never been to a football game there.
Yeah.
Spent quite a bit of time at Liberty. Their fans are raucous.
And I don't know if their facilities look immaculate. Like, their facilities look incredible.
It's that Falwell money, man.
They've got D1 FBS Power 5 type facilities. They look incredible.
Man, they love the tithe.
That's all I'll say.
You know they got a hockey arena on campus.
Hey, look, that church money is real money. That's real money. All right, church money is real money.
They also played the weakest strength of schedule this year.
They did, but they went 13-0.
Maybe that's what we're looking at. ECU has the chance to have the weakest strength of schedule next year, even though we probably won't with teams like App State on it and Liberty. I mean, there's UTSA still on there.
Right.
All right. Florida Atlantic. ECU beat Florida Atlantic. They come into Dowdy. ECU's only win against the FBS team this year. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I gotta believe Florida Atlantic is actually going to be a lot better than they were this past season. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm still on the Tom Herman train and I should be off of it, but I still believe that he's a pretty decent coach. And I just have a feeling he's going to get this thing turned around. So I believe FAU is going to be a lot better going into conference play and in this conference in general by next year. I think that's going to be one of our top 4 or 5 bigger opponents going into next season. I don't think FAU is going to be a slouch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's going to be a tough game.
I like playing. I like playing Florida Atlantic. That's a tougher game. That I mean, it's one of those sneaky tough games at times, right? All right.
They'll
Navy
be a bowl team next year. I'll say that they'll win 6 games next year.
Yeah, I haven't looked at their schedule next year, but Navy 5-7 after losing to Army in the Army-Navy game this past weekend. First team to shut out ECU in what, 26 years, 27 years?
Yeah.
You get to talk to our friend Pete once again. So, but we already kind of talked Army Navy, having them both on the schedule. All right, Temple. Another home game, Artie. EJ Warner no longer with the Owls. Hey, EJ.
Even with EJ Warner, they still suck.
I don't know they had me pulling out my hair in that game on Black Friday. What, 2 years ago? In 2022?
I mean, our offense couldn't be stopped, but neither could theirs. It was such a tit for tat. It's like, oh my goodness! Like, I mean, our offense, that was as good as I've seen our offense since the Shane Carden, Justin Hardy days, right? In that game, but EJ Warner was out there lighting it up. So yeah, that was a scary game.
Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, coming into Greenville, Jeff Traylor and UTSA, they'll play Marshall in the. Already, I couldn't believe that this was actually a bowl game. The Scooters Coffee Bowl.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me. All right. Away, Old Dominion, Liberty. We talked to Army. ECU's got to go on the road at Charlotte. We said that's going to be a home game for ECU. North Texas. Artie, did you know in 1974 ECU beat North Texas?
Is that the only time we beat North Texas?
That's the only time we played. And then lastly, got to go out to Tulsa.
Yeah.
And do we even have to talk about what happened the last 2 times we played Tulsa?
Nope.
All right, combined record, like I said, 65-77. Artie, I'm not going to hold you to it. ECU's record next year, looking at the schedule right now.
This is way too early list right here. Because we just don't know what JDB and staff is bringing in or is going to be bringing in yet. But I do know that the defense is not going to have much of a drop off. And against these teams, I do know that our ECU should be in every single football game that they play, much like they were this past year. Even when we were 2-10, we were still in pretty much every single game. Jared, there's no reason not to go 7-5, man. There's no reason not to go 7-5 with the schedule. To me, and I think Mike Houston has to wake up every morning knowing he got to get this shit done quickly. I mean, he got to wake up with some sort of fire in his ass every single day, knowing that he got to get this program turned around with the quickness. So there's just no to me. There's just no excuse for this schedule not to go 7-5. And that's my way too early list. I'm still trying to hamper expectations, but like 7-5.
Dare I say 9-3?
I mean, 9-3 really should be where we're at this point in the Houston era. Like we should be talking 9-3, 10-2, like it's normal. So I mean, I'm not even mad at you for saying that.
I mean, you retool the offense, Artie. And I'm not saying take it back to the 2022 season. You may not have that type of offense, but I don't think with this schedule you have to have that type of offense.
Yeah.
To go 9-3 with the defense that you have currently. You just need a competent offense and you're a bowl team. I think that's could be said for 2023. You have a competent offense, you're a bowl team.
Yeah.
You don't have to play SMU. You don't have to play Tulane. Right? Granted, I mean, Tulane's got a new head coach, which, by the way, Artie, Tulane hired the highest paid coach from the Sun Belt Conference. The coach that won the last 2 Sun Belt Conference championships. You know, took a step up into the big leagues.
Well, that speaks to Tulane's program and how they expect now to continue the success that they built over the last couple of years. So
9-3.
Okay.
Look,
hey, not in 3, and you about to get people in Greenville super excited again. After a 2-2 year, and then you go 9-3, you gonna have people super excited.
I mean, we've seen this kind of turnaround before in this conference. We've seen a UCF turn it around quick. We've seen a Tulane turn it around quick. Why not us? I mean, you retool. You've got the tools on defense. You put some new tools in that tool chest on offense. I think you have the opportunity, Artie. Like, people may say I'm crazy. Look, somebody told me what'd they say? I wasn't ever happy about the team or whatever. That was always a Debbie Downer, basically.
Too negative.
I was too negative. What? Hey,
you were too negative about a program that went 2-10. You got to be more positive. 2 wins is a lot of wins. You got to be more positive about that, Jared. You got to be positive about 2 wins.
I said this team could win 10 games last year.
You can only say good things about 2 wins.
I said this team was going to beat 2 out of 3 of SMU, Tulane, and UTSA. I said that, but I was too negative, Artie. No, I do think 9-3 is doable if you get the right pieces. And JDB's out there. I mean, he was at the JUCO National Championship game last night, Artie. Don't know if you saw that.
I did. I saw it on Twitter. I saw him out there. I saw him on the sideline.
He was there. He's everywhere. Got a new offensive line coach. New tight ends coach.
Yeah.
New running back coach. I like the direction of the coaching staff. Now that can they close? How good of salesmen are they? Can they package up an offense that was more like a Pinto and sell it like it's a Ferrari?
I like that. That was good.
You like that? That was off the dome, Artie.
That was pretty good.
Josh, you should clip that one. I do. I think 9-3 is doable. All right. Any final thoughts on this schedule?
No, it's a boo-boo schedule for those of us that like to see us play some bigger opponents like myself. I would love to always get, a big Power 5 name in there every year, but the schedule is enticing. Man, is it enticing. So let's go out and make the most of it.
For sure. And then lastly, real quick, Artie. With this, I think that I like the direction. I'm just gonna say, lastly, I like the direction, and so far, they're putting in work.
But there's everything to like right now, because nothing has actually been done as far as putting pen to paper, getting on the field, practicing, seeing it in real time, game film, stuff like that. So yeah, there's everything to like right now, and I agree with you. I really like what Josh put in the chat. JDB and staff, they've been all over the place taking flights. They're all over the place, going everywhere, and that's exactly what you want to see. But there's only everything to like right now. So it's like, okay, let me hamper my expectations a bit, and I want to see if we can really like actually put it together. I'm not gonna sit here and just kind of sing people's praises just yet. We're gonna hamper it just a little bit.
For sure. Artie, I don't know if you're seeing this. ECU basketball. Look, under 5 minutes left, down 5 in a neutral site game against Florida.
Don't be another South Carolina, man. This sounds like South Carolina, man.
Down 2 now. Good on you being able to keep up with it, Josh. I do not have the SEC network. I'm trying to watch it, but my phone is not loading as quickly.
This is the next step in the maturation of this program, though, is being able to win these types of games. When you're playing an opponent like that and you're down by a couple scores and it's super close, being able to close out these kinds of games. We can win these games. We just got to be able to close out. That's like the next step in ECU basketball. Being able to close out these type of games on a consistent basis, games that we really could and should probably win.
For sure. Yep. Down 2 with under 4 minutes to go. So that's that. Women's basketball will play on Monday night.
Yeah.
At 6 p.m. against George Mason. Artie, anything else around ECU athletics? I know, Josh, you want to come in and talk a little bit about this deposition that John Gilbert's going through? It seems like he's in the clear. He may not be in trouble.
Yeah, so it looks like, based on what we've read so far, that he's just going to be answering questions about what he knew, if he knew anything about the Southern Miss volleyball scandal that's going on right now. Right now, it really doesn't look like he knew anything, or else they would have probably brought charges on him with the initial ring. So, looking like he's probably pretty good. He'll be pretty clear.
Yeah, I'm not. When I first thought I was concerned, but I'm not as concerned now. All right, Artie. Walk the plank. Do you have one?
Yeah, I got a couple walk the planks. Obviously we know about this whole NCAA thing with Cam Hayes and his eligibility, and the bull jive, as Deion Sanders would say, that is going on. They can't make up their mind. Typical NCAA. Poor leadership, poor judgment, not knowing what the hell they're doing, lack of any type of competence at any level in the NCAA. You want to free some guys and let them play. You don't want to let other guys play. Is it bias? Yeah, of course it's bias. Of course they're getting paid. Of course they got people in their back pockets. It's just complete and utter bullshit and chaos that's going on with the NCAA. He's allowed to play tonight. He's allowed to play for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden he's going to be not able to play again. This is just absolutely insane what they're doing to Cam, and fuck the NCAA. Walk the damn plank. I'll let you speak on if you had a few words to say. But That's just absolutely insane.
I guess the thing that's so confusing to me is, at first they said, okay, if they play during these 2 weeks, they lose a year of eligibility. Then it came out, if they play during these 2 weeks, they don't lose their eligibility. Now the NCAA is once again saying if they play, they lose their eligibility. So
they're just making it up on a whim.
Like I saw somebody describe it as the NCAA is making a yes or no question into a thesis. Like that was a perfect way to describe it. Like, what are we doing?
So the biggest thing right now is that the NCAA initially was like, all right, cool, we're just gonna let everything go, and then they finally read what the suit was and saw that the only thing that they were suing over was like the whole waiver system and not the eligibility part. So they were like, well, if you're not going to be technical enough, we're going to get you here. So they're trying to punish everybody while also not breaking the law, and so it's all mind games at this point.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Already,
NCAA walk the damn plank. And then you brought this to my attention earlier, and I'm glad you mentioned this.
I mean, it's the NBA. Like, of course, I'm going to bring it to you when it's something stupid.
Draymond freaking Green. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing, Draymond? That's about as flagrant as an in-game punch I've ever seen. Maybe since Bill Laimbeer back in the 80s, right? When he was out there beating people up on the court. That is absolutely insane. What are you doing, bro? And, Nurkic after the game, he was like, look, this brother needs help. I agree. That brother does need help. I think beforehand, it's gone from competitive play to trying to be a leader and kind of get your guys amped up and kind of like say, hey, I'm going to be the backbone, the enforcer, because every team needs an enforcer. Every team needs a tough guy. That's for any sport, any level. You do need an enforcer. You need a guy that's gonna come out, a guy or woman that's gonna come out and say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna set the tone for what's gonna happen here in this game. But that's just too much. Like, what are we doing, Draymond? So yeah, he should be suspended indefinitely. That brother do need some help. I don't know if he need to go talk to somebody. I don't know what's going on in his personal life. I'm surprised Nurkic didn't get up off the floor and start a brawl. Now, if Draymond would have tried that with somebody else in the NBA, right? Like if he would have tried that with a Jokic, I think Jokic would have whooped his ass. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Jokic would have gone up in Draymond. So Draymond kind of know the kind of guys he could do that against, and the dudes he cannot do that against. But that's absolutely ridiculous. Draymond walked that play.
All right. Mine, Artie. It was announced. I think it was announced the day after we recorded. Mike Oresco announces his retirement.
No, we could have announced it on the podcast. We just didn't announce it.
Did that come out? Did we not talk about it? Anyways, I'm going to talk about it now. Mike Oresco, walk the damn plank, you son of a bitch. Got us. I'm sure they got us blacklisted at the conference office. I don't give a damn. Mike Oresco. People say, "Oh, look at what he's done for the conference." He ain't done shit for ECU.
All right, so I'm glad you say he hasn't done shit for ECU. He has kept this conference above water. I mean, we've had
by making it Conference USA 2.0
in this conference. Now, unfortunately, they all left, but he has managed a pretty well ran conference. We are the group of conference that has a lot with Mike Oresco's leadership.
I don't give a damn. I don't care. Look, I reached back out to Mike Oresco about 3 months ago. And I got a email bounce back from the guy that the media relations, Chuck Sullivan, head of media relations. I'm guessing they've seen our tweets about Mike Oresco.
Of course,
my tweets
about Mike Oresco. Of course they have. I
don't care. Mike, walk the damn plank. Go on to greener pastures. I don't care. Somebody take him out back of the barn.
For those that don't know, because we've been doing this podcast for some years now. For
175.
We've been doing this for quite some time. All right, Mike Oresco is one of our very first guests on this podcast. He was gracious enough to come on here. We loved to have him. He was a good guest, right? And he is probably the only person in the history of this podcast that has gone from friend of the podcast to enemy of the podcast. I think he's the only one. I don't think we have anybody else who's come on here that's gone from friend of the podcast to enemy of the podcast.
We joke every time we have Corey Glore on that he's gone from friend of the podcast to acquaintance or enemy of the podcast. But
no, Corey's that guy.
Corey's a friend of the podcast.
Yeah, Corey's that guy.
Always will be. Mike Oresco can walk the damn plank today, tomorrow, the next day, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, Thanksgiving Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I don't give a shit. Mike Oresco, walk the damn plank.
Enjoy your retirement, Mike Oresco. That's all I'll say.
Piece of shit.
What's next?
All right, gambling corner, Artie. We're going to talk about the bowl games that are going to be played up before Christmas Day. All right, let's go through this. We're going to go through all these bowl games. Okay, you may not know.
The lesser known ones that we ain't got to talk about it for 5 minutes. We can just go through.
No, we're not gonna talk about all of them for 5 minutes. We're not gonna. Yeah. I don't want to talk about any of them for 5 minutes. Let's do rapid fire.
Let's just do it.
Let's get through this. We do this every year, and we say, oh, we're not going to talk about these games for 5 minutes, and then we find one game and we end up talking about it for 5 minutes. Yeah. All right, first one: Georgia Southern, Ohio. Nobody cares about this game.
Myrtle Beach Bowl, baby. Is
that the Myrtle Beach Bowl?
It's Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Georgia Southern, 3.5-point favorites. Give me Ohio.
Because you picked Ohio, I got to pick Georgia Southern.
You son of a bitch.
Who gives a shit about this bowl game?
All right. Jacksonville State, first year at the FBS level. Playing Louisiana Lafayette. What bowl game is this?
R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
All right, you're gonna have to come with the names of the bowl games. Am I missing this on here?
I'm literally just looking at the official bowl season webpage. So
good on you, Artie.
I got
you. I guess I could do that. Jacksonville State, Louisiana Lafayette. Jacksonville State's a 2.5-point favorite. Over under 58.5. Jacksonville State.
Yeah, give me Jacksonville State. I mean, Louisiana's always like a pretty decent football program, but I just like Jacksonville State better. Give me Jacksonville State.
Artie, how you feel about Howard versus Florida A&M in the Celebration Bowl?
You know what? It's about time that both these programs get back to some life and fruition. If you follow HBCU football historically, both of these, especially Florida A&M back in the day,
11-1.
Florida A&M back in the day was a powerhouse. When my dad was at A&T, like Florida A&M was like the school, like not just HBCU, like nationwide too. They were really, really good. So I'm rooting for Florida A&M. I'm glad that they're back. The Rattlers. So yeah, give me A&M.
All right, that's a A&M is a 6.5-point favorite. All right, Miami of Ohio, App State. And the avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl.
Oh,
it's an avocado. Thanks. App State 6.5-point favorites. Miami of Ohio was 11-2 this year.
Yeah, they had a quietly sneaky good season.
Fuck App State. Miami of Ohio.
I mean, App State just knows how to win these games. I got App State. They win games like this. They win these games. They're not supposed to win these big marquee games. Give me App State.
This is an interesting one, Artie. New Mexico State, Fresno State in the New Mexico Bowl. New Mexico State, I mean, what were they? 10-4 in Conference USA. Played Liberty in the Conference USA Championship. Fresno State started out hot, coming off the last season. Stayed hot. Faltered down the stretch. New Mexico State's a 3.5-point favorite. Your thoughts?
Yeah, New Mexico State. Didn't they go 10-2, 10-3 this season? Lost
10-4.
10-4 because they lost to Liberty in the championship game. Went into Auburn. Smacked Auburn around, who should have beat Alabama. Give me New Mexico State.
Yeah, give me New Mexico State as well. All right. The LA Bowl, the Starco Brands LA Bowl, UCLA, Boise State. UCLA is a 4-point favorite. Give me UCLA.
Yo, I'm reading the name of this. It said Starco Brands LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. Like that is absurd. Give me UCLA.
All right, California, versus Texas Tech. Battle of two 6-6 teams. Texas Tech out of the Big 12, 3-point favorites. And the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Texas Tech.
Ooh. You know, man, the homie Keenan Allen went to Cal, so give me Cal. Give me the Cal Bears.
Keenan Allen went to Cal?
Yes, Keenan Allen went to Cal. Him and his brother. Yeah.
I don't think I realized that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I always thought he went to Carolina.
Nope. Went to Cal Berkeley.
All right. Well, learn something new every day. Western Kentucky, Old Dominion, and the famous Toastery Bowl. What are we doing with these bowls, man? Famous Toastery has a bowl?
Yeah.
Old Dominion's 2.5-point favorites. Give me Old Dominion.
I like Old Dominion. I like them more with more than what you said, Western Kentucky.
Yep, the Hilltoppers.
The Hilltoppers, yeah. Even though they got some sweet chrome helmets, but give me Old Dominion.
They got an ugly mascot, that's for sure.
That is true. Yeah, that's true.
All right. Next up on the docket, UTSA, Marshall, and the once again Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. The Roadrunners are a 13-point favorite. UTSA. Marshall looks suspect down the stretch.
That is true, but you know what, man? We are Marshall, baby. Give me Randy Moss's alma mater. I'm taking Marshall in this one.
Now that we've talked about Boise State and Marshall, ECU and Boise State have canceled the remainder of their series. Meant to talk about this earlier. So, yeah. And I believe one of those games in 2025 has been replaced with Campbell. Look out for Coastal to replace the other one. All right. Next. South Florida made a bowl. South Florida versus Syracuse in the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Syracuse 3-point favorites. Give me the orange.
Yeah, give me. I know they got rid of Dino Babers, which I think was a bad move. But give me Syracuse.
All right, in the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl, Georgia Tech plays Central Florida. Central Florida is a 4.5-point favorite. Yes, I'm calling you Central Florida. Get fucked, UCF. 2 6-6 teams. Just because Georgia Tech, go Jackets.
Let me tell you something. Georgia Tech is quietly doing something. If you were paying attention to Georgia Tech, I low-key paid attention to Georgia Tech this year. They could have won 8 or 9 games if they wanted to. They quietly building something down there in Atlanta. Give me Georgia Tech.
For sure. All right. All right. Troy, Duke in the 76 Birmingham Bowl. Troy's 7.5-point favorites. Sunbelt Conference champions. Duke, once again, faltered down the stretch. Don't have their head coach. Not going to have their quarterback. Troy steamrolls Duke.
Just when you thought it was going to get better for Duke, man, it still just leads all back to basketball. But you know what? I think they get their revenge. Blue Devils on top. Give me Duke.
I think they get steamrolled.
They could get steamrolled.
All right. Arkansas State, Northern Illinois in the Camellia Bowl. Arkansas State's a 1-point favorite. Give me the Huskies. Corey Glor's alma mater.
Yeah, look, man. I'm a Chicago kid. I'm not going to go against Northern Illinois. Give me the Huskies, too.
All right. JMU, Air Force in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. James Madison is a 3-point favorite.
This is a good one. This is a good game.
This is a good one.
This is going to be a good game. I'm going to have to tune in for this one. James Madison Air Force. This is going to be a good one.
Give me Air Force.
Ooh. I don't know. I like the Dukes. And they shouldn't have lost to App State. After hosting college games, that's such bullshit. But give me the Dukes. I like James Madison against Air Force. Air Force lost to Army, which they shouldn't have lost to, but it is what it is.
Georgia State, Utah State, and the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Utah State's a 1.5 point favorite. Georgia State's another one of those teams that started out super hot and then struggled down the stretch.
Yeah.
Just looking at their schedule, I mean, they lost their last 5 games. Artie. Lost to Old Dominion. Now they lost to LSU, lost to App State, lost to James Madison, and lost to Georgia Southern.
So they lost to good teams.
They lost to good teams, but still, you lost 5 games down the stretch. Georgia State figures it out, and they beat Utah State.
Yeah, I like Georgia State in this game. I think Georgia State's a better team. I like them in this game.
Okay, South Alabama, Eastern Michigan, East Michigan, Eastern. Who cares? East Michigan.
No, they are Eastern. They are Eastern Michigan.
It doesn't matter. Where are they? Kalamazoo?
Oh, I don't know where the hell Eastern Michigan is at, man. We got Eastern Michigan, got Western Michigan. I don't know where these schools at.
Ypsilanti.
I really don't. You got Michigan State is in Lansing. Michigan is in Ann Arbor. Those are the only 2 that matter.
Pretty sure they're in Ypsilanti.
The rest just don't matter.
Josh. Ypsilanti. Yep, he's giving me the thumbs up. There we go.
Good for them.
South Alabama, 16.5 point favorites. Go Jaguars.
Yeah, South Alabama. They've been a consistent program the last couple of years. South Alabama.
Here's another sneaky, interesting one. Utah Northwestern.
A bowl game? I'm just now seeing that.
In the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl.
Oh, my goodness. I did not know Northwestern made a bowl game. After all that bullshit they had to do in the offseason, whoever their coach is, interim coach, whatever, he should absolutely be coach of the year. It's insane.
Utah 6.5 point favorites. Utah wins. Go Utes.
I could have gone to Northwestern, but I couldn't afford it. But I'm still going to pick Northwestern. Still has a special place in my heart. Got to go Wildcats.
All right, and lastly, Artie, Coastal Carolina, losers of last year's Birmingham Bowl to none other than your East Carolina Pirates. And San Jose State in the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. Coastal Carolina without Grayson McCall, just transferred to NC State. The Aztecs, 10-point favorites. Artie, my book bag got stolen one time in San Jose, and it ended up, I found it on San Jose State's campus. Give me the Aztecs.
Yeah, I'm taking Coastal Carolina. I know they don't have their quarterback, but I'm going to take Coastal Carolina in this one.
No shot. All right. That's it, Artie. ECU trails Florida by 4 with 18 seconds to go based on my app. Josh, I don't know if it's over yet or not. Bobby Pettiford carried off the court with a leg injury. Not ideal.
Was really hoping to go 1-1 in that stretch against the SEC. That's okay though.
Oh well. Time goes on. Artie, anything else?
We didn't go through all these bowl games, did we?
Damn. Okay, we'll go.
You got.
I was
like
gonna go.
10 more
I was gonna
bowl
go through the
games.
ones up until. I was gonna go through the ones up until Christmas Day.
Oh, Christmas Day. Okay, I got you.
So the 23rd. We'll go after the 23rd.
Okay, all right. I was like, bro, you got like at least 15 more bowl games.
No,
Like,
we're not going through all
bowl
of them.
games.
We'll be here all night.
All right, bet we're gonna bring it back next week. Cool, that works for me.
Works for you. All right. Make sure to check out the Variety Sports Network. Lots of great content. Subscribe there. Follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, or just formerly known as. All right. And make sure whatever you do, subscribe on YouTube at Boneyard Podcast. We're trying to grow this thing. We're going to start doing, hopefully in the new year, a lot more content on YouTube. I'm excited about it. We've got these ideas. We got the man behind the scenes, Josh, who's gonna help us out with that. Got some exciting things in store for next year. I'm excited about it. And then lastly, leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever. 5-star review, you're best friend of the podcast. 1 star, you can walk the damn plank. Lastly, shout out Rajay Harris. Did you see his announcement, Artie? We don't deserve him. Shout out to him for he's giving away something.
What up, Roger?
He's doing a raffle, giving away something for Christmas for the holidays, helping a family that needs it out. So shout out to that.
He's a true 1%er.
1%. And then, yeah, I know I have another shout out real quick. Let me find it in my text. Logan Smith. John Smith's son turned 13, I think yesterday. We shouted him out a couple years ago on the podcast. Here's another shout out to you, Logan. Happy birthday, Logan. My friend.
Happy birthday, big dog. Welcome to your teens.
1-3. All right. I don't have anything else, Artie. Let's get out of here.
Hey, I got nothing to say. Hey, look, y'all. Holiday season, Christmas coming up. Go and get them gifts. Stop procrastinating. Stop playing. Get them gifts. That's all I got for you. Wash your hands, wash your butts as always. Oops.
Peace.
I know this man did not just hit a dab. I know he did not hit no damn dab.